Today we're going to be talking about inequality word problems. So just like we did with word problems in the past, we're going to have 4 steps. We're going to define a variable, write an inequality for the situation, solve the inequality, and then write a sentence to answer what that actually means in the given situation. So our first word problem here says your brother has $2,000 saved for a vacation. His airplane ticket is $637. How much can he spend for everything else? So the question that they're asking us, how much can he spend for everything else? That's going to be our variable. Let's just call it X. So money for everything else. And that's what we're going to be solving for. Okay, so we have that our brother has $2,000 saved. We know that that is our total amount. That either can go on the left, like we're going to put it here, or it could go on the right, and it doesn't matter. Okay, the $2,000 needs to stay by itself. We know we've spent $637 on a plane ticket. And we need to add to that the amount that he's going to spend on everything else. So this is how much he has. This is his budget. This is how much he's spent. Now it says he has $2,000 saved for a vacation. When you're trying to figure out what inequality symbol should go in here, you have to ask yourself, can he spend exactly $2,000? Yeah, he can spend everything that he brought or everything that he saved. So then we need the equal to piece. Can we spend more than $2,000? No, he doesn't have enough money saved for that. So we need to make sure that $2,000 is the bigger thing out of these two sides. That's why the inequality symbol needs to open up towards the 2,000. Now we're going to solve for X. So we're going to subtract 637 from both sides. And that will give us X on the right-hand side. We didn't divide by a negative, so our sign stays the same. And we get $1,363. Well, we don't know that that's dollars just by looking at this, but because we know what X is. So then we have to write a sentence for this. Here, if it helps you, remember you can flip these around. Since the inequality is facing towards the number, you got to keep it facing towards the number. This says X is less than or equal to $1,363. It is dollars. So he can spend no more than $1,363. You could literally just say he can spend less than or equal to $1,363. You can also say those exact words as they are listed there, as you would say them out loud. Okay? You can say he can't spend over $1,363. There's lots of ways to say it, but that is his limit. Alright, next question says, your company is given $100 to start off and makes a $50 profit every week afterwards. What is the minimum number of weeks it will take you to have a profit of $375? Alright, so what's it asking us to find? It's asking us to find the minimum number of weeks. So let's say X equals number of weeks. You could say W equals number of weeks. It doesn't matter what variable you're using for this. Okay? So they're given $100 to start off. You're automatically given $100. And then you make $50 profit. What does that word profit mean? So it's money that you get to keep in your pocket or you get to keep as your company. And it's $50 every week. Well, we don't know how many weeks this is, so we're going to put an X with that. And we want to have a profit of $375. Okay, so $375 is going to go on the other side. Do we want our profit, do we want this side to be more than? Do we want the 375 to be more than? Do you want that to be the greater thing? So if we're trying to get a profit of $375, you always want to have more profit. Okay? We could also have exactly $375. We would be happy with that, so we got to put the equal to piece. Now we're going to solve for X. So we're going to subtract 100. And we get 50X is greater than or equal to 275. And then we're going to get X by itself still. So we're going to divide both sides by 50, and x is greater than or equal to 5.5. Now, this is a decimal. That doesn't mean that we did something wrong, but we want the full number of full weeks, so we can't leave this as a decimal. We have to round it, and we have to decide, should we round it down to 5 weeks? If we only have 5 weeks, will we have enough money to have a profit of $375, or do we need over that, and we would need to say 6 weeks? Since it says x is greater than or equal to 5.5, we need to round it up, because the 5 weeks would not satisfy this, okay? So you would say it would take at least 6 weeks. Again, that's not the only way that you can say that sentence, but that's what we got going on here. All right, Ryan is a wrestler trying to make weight. He currently weighs 200 pounds. If he cuts 2 pounds per week, how many weeks will it take him to weigh less than 175 pounds? Okay, it's asking us the question, how many weeks? So again, our variable is going to be number of weeks. You can choose whatever variable you want. A lot of people just choose x. All right, he currently weighs 200 pounds. And he cuts 2 pounds per week. What does that mean? So that means that he's losing weight. He's losing 2 pounds per week, but we have no idea how many weeks that is. So we're going to subtract 2x from it. We know that we want to have 175 on the other side. And we want him to weigh less than 175. So that means we're going to have less than 175. Do we want it to be equal to for this question? No, because it says less than. Okay. Didn't say a maximum of 175 pounds. It says that it wants to be less than 175 pounds. So here we go. We're going to solve. So we're going to subtract 200 from both sides. Negative 2x is going to be less than negative 25. Dividing by negative 2, we get x. We get 12.5. Remember, we divided by a negative, so we need to make sure that we're switching our sign. And we get a decimal. That's okay to have, but we can't have that as an answer. We want to know the full number of weeks. So do we need to round down to 12 weeks or up to 13 weeks? And this says x is greater than 12.5. So which one of those is greater, 12 or 13? So 13 is going to be the one that fits here. So you would need to say it will take at least 13 weeks. Okay, make sure you're writing a sentence for these. Keeping in mind, it doesn't need to be those exact words to get it correct. All right, Jill has a job offer. She's offered either $50 per day or $30 per day plus a commission of $3 for every plant she sells. How many plants does she need to sell to make the commission offer the best paying option? Okay, what's our question to figure out what our variable is? It says how many plants does she need to sell? So x equals number of plants sold. Okay, and we have two different things. We have a non-commission option and a commission option. So the non-commission would be just $50. Okay, it doesn't matter how many plants she sells, whether it's 0 or 1,000, $50 no matter what. The other way is if she gets commission. So it's $30 plus $3 for every plant she sells. But because we don't know how many plants she's selling, we're just going to add 3x to that. Okay, so this is non-commission, this is commission. Okay, we want the commission to be the best paying option. Does that mean we want to make it face towards non-commission or we want it to face towards commission? Well, we want the commission to be the best option, so we definitely want that to be bigger. Do we want it to be equal? Is that allowed to happen? If they were equal, then the commission wouldn't be the best paying option. So we need to leave it as just the less than symbol if we have it in this order. All right, we're going to get x by itself, so we're going to subtract 30 on both sides. And we get 20 is less than 3x. We're going to divide both sides by 3. And that's going to give us A rounded answer right now is 6.67. That's fine. You could also leave it as 20/3, or put it as 6 2/3 is a little bit easier to look at. And so now we have to decide, can we have a decimal of a plant? No, so we have to decide, do we round this down to 6 or round it up to 7? Here, 6.67 needs to be less than x, or you can switch it around if it helps you to look at this from the left-hand side with a variable. So we need the number to be greater than 6.67, meaning Jill should sell 7 or more plants. Or you could say at least 7 plants each day, or whatever it may be. Okay? We've got one more to look at, and this says a pipe is at least 21 feet long and you want to cut it into 3 pieces. The second piece is to be twice as long as the first piece, and the third piece is to be 1 foot longer than the second piece. What is the minimum length of the first piece? So we're finding the length of the first piece, so that's going to be our x. But we also have here the second piece and the third piece that we have to take into account. So the second piece, it says the second piece is to be twice as long as the first piece. If the first piece is x, twice that length would be 2x. For the third piece, it says the third piece is to be 1 foot longer than the second piece. So we need to take the second piece, which was 2x, and add 1 to it, because it needs to be 1 foot longer. Okay? These 3 pieces we're going to have to add together. So we would have x plus 2x plus 2x plus 1. Our total length is 21. Or it's at least 21 feet long. So does that mean that this side, the 3 pieces, are bigger than 21? Is the 21 bigger? So the 3 pieces are going to be bigger. And since it says at least, you can put equal to as well. And then we're going to solve. So this would give us a total of 5x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 21. And then solving further, we get 5x is greater than or equal to 20. One last step of dividing by 5, and x is greater than or equal to 4. So what does this actually mean in the situation? Remember, x is the length of the first piece. So we're going to say the first piece is at least 4 feet long. Okay? So that would be your answer for that question. Remember, to find a variable, write an inequality, solve it, and then write a sentence to answer that question.